Gilbert couple facing child neglect charges after their 8-year-old went missing, but supporters say police and even the city attorney are overstepping their boundaries. Tonight, ABC 15's Mary Ellen Resendez speaks with one of the creators of a scathing video building support for the family. Now, Mary Ellen, it sounds like the officer body cam video might be the linchpin here.
It certainly is. Mesa police say that both their report and the body cam video that you see right here speaks for them. When we spoke with the creator, he says he can see the concerns that officers have when he reads the report. But when he sees this video, he sees Brian and Janet Bentley's side more and more.
When I watched body cam footage, I saw a police department that was helping the family to now going against the family.
Jimmy Lindblom is the man behind the scathing video Stand with Bentley, slamming the Mesa Police Department and DCS for how they handled the case of a missing 7-year-old last spring.
Sorry, I can't let you back in there right now.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Why?
Because of the discussion a while.
I want to be able to see my son.
I certainly can respect that they were trying to keep this child safe, but as they began to separate and force them apart, it started to really come close to home to me.
But before this happened, Mesa police officers reported several red flags. Janet Bentley didn't call 911 until the morning after her son, who the video refers to as Tommy, went missing. Nearly 11 hours later, in 40-degree temperatures and with a sex offender home nearby.
When did you last see him? Last night.
When Tommy was found, officers noted he was pulling away, fighting to get away from his father, and it continued inside the home.
Son, you need to understand, you're not leaving. You're not leaving.
Then Brian and Janet refused to let paramedics examine Tommy, and that's when DCS stepped in.
If you are not going to let him be medically transported, then we will move forward as we need to.
Why not, be more cooperative? But then once I saw the body cam, once I learned of the story, those things became less and less important to me. I focused less on the family's actions and more on the government's actions.
But Lindblom sees it differently, and he says while he wants justice for the Bentleys, he also wants to change Arizona's laws, where warrants are needed to question or remove a child.
The third thing that I hope for is that I hope that parents understand the rights that they have.
Now, when we've asked DES and the city attorney to comment, we've been told that they can't comment on ongoing cases. Meanwhile, the Bentleys will go to trial in May. Live in Gilbert, Mary Ellen Resendez, ABC 15, Arizona.
All right, Mary Ellen, thank you. The Trump administration might have signed off on the Keystone XL pipeline project, but there's still at least one big hurdle to overcome: Nebraska. A key state involved in the expansion has not approved the project. Part of the original pipeline runs through eastern Nebraska, but opponents argue a new expansion could pollute fresh water throughout the state because the new proposed route would hit the Ogallala Aquifer, one of the world's largest.
Stop tweeting.
That's a tweetable moment as well.
I have not talked.
No more Twitter. That's Senator John McCain's message to President Trump. The Arizona Republican responding to an audience question in Brussels about what Trump needs to do to be an effective president. McCain also says the president needs to reach across the aisle.
Is do some outreach. Get to know some of these Democrat leaders. You can find common ground in some areas.
McCain also wants President Trump to, quote, develop a real strategy to counter Russian expansion. The senator adding he has yet to meet Trump since he became president. So, what's next? That's the big question across the country right now, one day after the epic failure of health care reform. ABC's David Wright has the latest.
Before heading out to his golf club in Virginia, President Trump was still ruminating about Friday's health care debacle, tweeting, "Obamacare will explode, and we will all get together and piece together a great health care plan for the people. Do not worry." Plenty of voters are worried.
The plan they had kicked 24 million people off of health insurance.
The whole point is to hear both sides and come together, and that's where I'm most frustrated with our government, because I don't think they're doing that thing.
Today, Vice President Pence was in Charleston, West Virginia, reassuring small business owners.
We will end the Obamacare nightmare and give the American people the world-class health care that they deserve.
The GOP effort to repeal and replace Obamacare is now in tatters because House Republicans could not marshal enough votes to pass their plan.
Obamacare is the law of the land. It's going to remain the law of the land until it's replaced.
Some lawmakers now say just walking away from the problem would not be responsible either.
Doing nothing is not the answer after this setback.
But there's no quick fix agreeable to all sides.
Repeal and replace, it's a nice buzzword, it's a nice slogan, but it doesn't describe what we need to do moving forward.
Republicans in Congress haven't yet said what their next move is likely to be. The administration says it's moving on to tax reform. David Wright, ABC News, Washington.
While we are enjoying the 70s and 80s here in the Valley, things not quite as warm in the Sierra Nevada mountains. Nearly 10 inches of snow has fallen, leading to dozens of accidents and completely shutting down I-80 for hours overnight. And then take a look at this. From overnight into the morning, heavy, wet snow dumped in parts of northern New Mexico. While all of that snow may be a pain for drivers, officials say it could actually help. After an uncharacteristically dry winter, they say this moisture may prevent some dangers from the fire season. And then new tonight here in Arizona, check out these images sent in from Arizona Snow Bowl today. They tell us they got 23 inches of fresh powder going into this weekend. This is March, people, late March. They're expecting more tonight and into the early part of next week.
Yeah, a couple of disturbances moving in will be bringing some weather changes to us. One moving out right now in a big storm system out across parts of the Midwest. You see the spin there in the upper levels, and we are looking at quite a bit of rain tonight for our family and friends from Detroit all the way down to Atlanta, moving into the panhandle of Florida. Back here closer to home, we have 70s, San Francisco at 54 right now, 40s in Denver, and also looking at 40s there in Chicago. The plan tomorrow, you see how rainy it's going to be out east. Atlanta expecting more of those showers and storms. Chicago, more rain. Denver, but nice back here closer to home. We'll talk about the chance for rain in the valley forecast. That's coming up minutes away.
All right, thank you, Laura. Dressing up a few months early for Halloween, a Virginia man now behind bars after dressing up like Joker. But it wasn't just the costume that had police worried. Officers say he was also carrying around a sword. Yep, he's been charged with wearing a mask in public, which gets you up to 5 years in jail, apparently. Well, back in the Valley, Silent Witness asking for your help solving multiple crime alerts. The first at a Safeway on Baseline Road in Phoenix. Officers say 6 suspects walked into the store on March 8th. They stole liquor, but then went from theft to assault when one of them hit a clerk in the head with a bottle. We don't have video of the attack, but police sent us good surveillance video and pictures of the group. This guy also on the run after losing his temper back in February. The man confronted a Circle K employee on West Indian School. He was upset about the beer cooler being locked. He ended up slapping a drink off the counter and stealing cigarettes and alcohol. If you have any information on either of these crimes, go ahead and call Silent Witness. Well, we may have found the least stealthy burglar in Arizona. He was just caught in Tucson, literally with his pants down. Have a look. A spokesperson for the Tucson Unified School District says police were called out to Miles Elementary. Can't imagine why. A locksmith spotted someone trying to get into classrooms. The suspect tried to hop the school's fence to get away, but fell a little short. Didn't make it. This picture posted to Facebook, as you can imagine, is going viral. This next story has us asking, how could something like this happen? A 96-year-old woman and her husband end up 600 miles from home after an airline attendant put them on the wrong plane. George and Helen were visiting relatives in South Florida, but when it was time to go home to Grand Rapids, Michigan, they say an Allegiant worker pushed their wheelchairs onto the wrong plane. They ended up in Ogdensburg, New York. Helen says the eye candy made the mistake okay.
The pilot was drop dead handsome. And I remember when I was young enough to be excited about that. So that woke me up a little bit.
You can't fault the logic there. Allegiant says the mistake was a computer glitch and comped the couple's flight. An 8-year-old girl being hailed a hero tonight for her quick thinking. Jada Bell was in the car with her big sister and niece when her sister all of a sudden had a seizure while she was driving on the highway. Jada jumped into action, pushing down on the sister's foot to hit the brake, then throwing the car into neutral. She jumped out to grab her 2-year-old niece from the back seat, but the car was still rolling.
I used my back to push it back here, and my back still hurts from that.
Wow. Jada gaining some recognition from the local police department with this post on Facebook for her bravery and quick thinking. Good for her. Now, talk about a parent's love. A man in Texas puts his life on the line to save his son from their burning home. A family of 5 was living in this mobile home north of Houston when it caught fire. The parents and 2 kids got out quickly when dad realized his son was still inside. So he ran back in, pulled the boy from the flames. Dad has burns on his arms and the boy was airlifted to the hospital, but hey, he's alive tonight. Well, how do you think the bike lanes in Tempe are working? The city wants to hear about what you think about the traffic on McClintock after the big remodel project. On Tuesday, head out to McClintock High School at 6 p.m. You can talk to city engineers and council members about the changes and how roads in Tempe can be improved coming up in the future. And we have a winner. A big congratulations today to Penda Bosch. She won the 2017 Arizona State Spelling Bee. Penda is an 8th grader at Sossaman Middle School in Queen Creek. She beat 26 other competitors to win by correctly spelling the word jigu. Penda will head to Washington, D.C. to represent Arizona in the 90th Annual Scripps National Spelling Bee starting May 28th. Good for her. She spelled a word I can't even say. It's all the rage, kids making DIY slime, but a safety alert tonight after one girl ends up in the hospital. Sun's out, they're out. What can you do to keep those slithering snakes out of your home?
Good morning to you. Thanks for waking up with us.
This is ABC 15 Mornings. And Good Morning America. A lot of news to get to this morning.
Do you have the right tools to meet your financial goals? Desert Schools is teaming up with ABC 15 to bring you the Financial Fitness Zone.
Go to abc15.com/finance. You'll find practical information and smart ideas to help keep you on track.
Desert Schools, we're here for you.
We are CenturyLink. We believe in the power of the digital world. The power to connect small towns, big cities, and even bigger dreams. And that's what drives us every day. CenturyLink.
Katie is our hometown girl.
Went to Saguaro High, proud ASU Sun Devil.
Little known fact, Katie started right here at ABC 15 as an intern.
On a kid show.
Can you imagine a world without movies?
She's a mom with a devoted dad and 2 great kids.
You're not going to find anybody who cares more about the people and the stories that we tell.
Katie knows Arizona and she brings it every day. The unexpected is happening now. Our weather is changing.
A safety alert tonight, especially for parents, after a girl just trying to do a homemade science project ends up in the hospital with 3rd-degree burns. She was trying to make homemade slime, a sticky, stretchy goo that kids can play with. It's becoming really popular right now, but doctors say that extended contact with one of the ingredients, borax, gave the girl severe blisters. They recommend looking up all the components of the homemade projects like this and always wear gloves. Life can get pretty busy, especially for parents with kids. Between school and other activities, it can be hard shuttling everybody around. That's why Uber is testing out a pilot program in Seattle. It's basically Uber for teens. That way mom and dad can get a break. Parents will receive multiple notifications, have the ability to track location real time, and call the driver during the ride.
First impression was like, no, but then I thought about, soccer practices, track events.
Uber says only experienced and highly rated drivers will be eligible to give these rides. The company says safety is top priority here. Well, right now, they could be lurking in those cool, dark places around your home. Snakes, probably just as confused as we are about our recent hot streak. ABC 15's Megan Thompson with what to watch out for tonight.
You know, a 2-foot, 3-foot snake could crawl right through there, so this is another area that would need to be meshed off.
David Coleman, a well-known snake wrangler in the North Phoenix Anthem community, he recommends exclusions, these mesh panels on fences and holes on properties.
Again, we have another drain hole here. This is what it would look like.
Perfect for Terry Jones. Her home near the I-17 and Carefree Highway backs right up to a wash.
I understand that they do live nearby and we have plenty of desert behind our house. We would just rather keep them a little bit further away.
Further away than her doorstep, perhaps. Jones says the family has had to have 4 snakes removed in just 2 days.